Hello, I'm Bob Schieffer, and welcome to the CBS Evening News online edition. Just ahead, encouraging signs in New Orleans. First commercial flights begin landing, and receding floodwaters help recovery teams in their grim work. Byron Pitts will have that story. Also, the gloves come off. Judge John Roberts faces sharp questioning at his confirmation hearing, and saving California's ducks. You'll meet a man who is most unlikely as a savior. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News online edition. The waters in New Orleans continued to recede today, and as searchers moved into new areas, the death toll went up dramatically. The known dead in Louisiana rose from 279 yesterday to 423 today. In Mississippi, the toll stands now at 218 dead. But amid all the death, there are signs that New Orleans is beginning to come back to life. And Byron Pitts has more on that. Byron?
It was the first encouraging sign to come from the sky over New Orleans in 2 weeks.
Welcome aboard Flight 947 down to New Orleans.
The first commercial flights in or out of New Orleans International Airport since the storm hit. But like the city itself, the planes were virtually empty.
I thought I'd see a plane full of residents going back and contractors going in for the fun part. Great to be back.
And yes, New Orleans is coming back. Engineers are pumping out 6.5 billion gallons of floodwater every day. Estimates are the city should dry out by mid-October.
We're out of nuclear crisis mode, and we're in normal day-to-day crisis mode.
Trains are running, power's back on in nearly half the city. And the first cargo ship will be unloaded Wednesday. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to a river system serving 33 states along the Mississippi River.
Bring in!
But there are also signs of the grim and difficult task ahead. Recovery teams searching door to door for bodies, and the unprecedented job of housing the thousands of New Orleans residents displaced by Hurricane Katrina. A task new FEMA Director David Paulson called his top priority.
I know it's a focus of mine, it's a focus of the President, that we get these people out of the shelters into some type of either semi-permanent or permanent housing.
Today we heard more than 911 tapes obtained exclusively by CBS News. The haunting voices of the desperate during those early hours of this disaster.
I'm going to die. The water is steady rising in the attic, ma'am. And I'm going to drown in the attic.
Pray for me, huh?
Oh. Sir, I will pray. I will have to pray for everybody, even myself.
You don't know the address to where you are?
But what I'm saying is the house been floated down the street now.
The house is going down the street?
There's a woman, her newborn baby is trapped in the house right across the street from the school. And she can't swim.
Tonight, the mayor says some residents could be allowed back in their homes as early as Monday. Bob?
Thank you very much, Byron. And now to the other major story of the day, the Senate confirmation hearings on the nomination of Judge John Roberts to be the next Chief Justice of the United States. The Judiciary Committee peppered Roberts with questions today, and it didn't take long for the subject to turn to the Supreme Court's landmark ruling on abortion. Here's Gloria Borger.
For a lawyer little known to the public until this summer, John Roberts looked like a man who had prepared for this job interview his entire life. The first flashpoint, abortion rights. The key question, is the precedent of Roe v. Wade so strong that Roberts would not vote to overturn it?
I do think that it is a jolt to the legal system when you overrule a precedent.
The Republican chairman who favors abortion rights continued to press.
Would you think that Roe might be a super-duper precedent in light of...
Roberts refused to go any further, except to say...
There's nothing in my personal views based on faith or other sources that would prevent me from applying the precedents of the court.
The only woman on the panel grilled Roberts on his old legal memos which appeared to disparage women and their complaints about unequal pay.
I have always supported and support today equal rights for women.
You speak about modesty and humility, and yet none of these comments are modest or humble.
Another point of contention, civil rights. In this case, a memo written by Roberts 23 years ago, in which he argued for narrowing the reach of the Voting Rights Act.
It was the position of the Reagan administration for whom I worked.
Roberts said he had always supported the anti-discrimination law and fought back.
You have not accurately represented my position.
These are your words.
For a litigator who has argued 39 cases before the Supreme Court, Roberts proved just as unflappable in the Senate hearing room.
The answers are misleading, with all due respect.
Well, they may be. Wait a minute. They may be misleading, but they're his answers.
Okay, fine.
You may finish.
Fire away.
With respect, they are my answers, and with respect, they're not misleading. They're accurate.
Watch for conservatives to start questioning Judge Roberts very closely on Roe versus Wade. They want him to vote to overturn it, and they're not sure he would, Bob.
Okay, hold on just for a second, Gloria. We want to bring in Jan Crawford Greenberg, our legal analyst from the Chicago Tribune. Jan, you're the lawyer. When he says today that Roe v. Wade is a settled legal precedent, as he calls it, does that mean he supports abortion rights?
No, it does not. There was a comma after that sentence. He said it was settled law, subject to the legal principle that allows courts to rethink their decisions if there are compelling reasons to do so. He did not say he would not overturn Roe, despite question after question from senator after senator trying to pin him down on those views.
Did we find out anything about him, Jan, that we didn't know?
Today, very much what we saw was the John Roberts that we've seen much of the summer, the John Roberts that the justices have seen when he argued before them before the Supreme Court. He's a man who is prepared. We saw his humor. We didn't really see him go off his points that he's made before.
I thought he did very well, Gloria. Just from the politics of it, what's going to happen next? Do you think he picked up any votes today?
I'm not sure that he picked up any votes, Bob. You can see that the Democrats had the points that they wanted to make, and they made them about issues like civil rights and Roe versus Wade. But privately, the Democrats I speak with are telling me, we understand that Judge Roberts is going to get confirmed, and lots of them are starting now to focus on just who the second nominee for the Supreme Court is going to be. There's lots of thought that that nominee could be more conservative and more controversial, and they ought to start thinking about that one.
All right. Well, thanks to both of you on that. As you heard just a little earlier, the new director of FEMA said today that the agency will work harder to find permanent housing for those left homeless by Katrina. Well, for our special series Crisis Check, CBS News investigative correspondent Cheryl Atkinson is in the hurricane zone, checking tonight on what the disaster has done to the real estate market.
Matthew Shropshire is on dry ground now, but he'll never forget clinging to a mattress and being plucked from Katrina's killer waters like so many others.
Coast Guard helicopter came above us and let the basket down and started picking us up out of the water. And to see bodies floating on the water and stuff like that, it's a sight that I don't think a lot of people would ever want to live through again.
Life after the storm has been nearly as unsettling. He's still got a steady paycheck, but can't seem to get his head above water in a real estate market that's suddenly sizzling hot.
I see places that's vacant and that's safe for rent, but then they're telling me they don't have anything available.
In destroying miles of real estate in New Orleans, Katrina gave birth to a real estate boom nearby. Hundreds of thousands of people need new homes.
I've got 5 kids, so we're kind of living out of the expedition right now.
Even for those who can pay, there aren't enough to go around.
Every time I call, a lot of it's already under contract.
It's too soon for exact figures, but realtors say market values are rising as fast as Katrina's floodwaters. Rentals are being snapped up, and oil companies are buying houses for their workers, sight unseen.
Is it a happy market for realtors? No, it's not. There's no joy in seeing victims and people without homes.
When Matthew does think he's found a vacancy, he's turned away. He figures some property owners may consider evacuees undesirable. We asked this landlord why he posted for rent signs, but told Matthew he had nothing available. So there's nothing to rent here, even though there's a for rent sign up?
No.
Why do you have the for rent sign up?
Well, I mean, what's wrong with having my number behind my building?
I'm not asking for anybody to give me anything. All I'm asking is just for a place to rent.
It's not clear there's anything illegal going on.
Attorney General's office.
But the Attorney General is on alert.
We're not against you making a fair profit. And you should make a fair profit so you can stay in business, but you should not take advantage of people that are struggling to have housing.
For Matthew, survival after Katrina means spending his days searching for a new home.
It's a sign that with the number on it I called, they said they don't have anything.
And as an example, one realtor told us 3,000 listings went down to about 300 overnight. As for Matthew, he spends his night in a one-bedroom apartment owned by a friend with 8 other men, women, and children. Bob?
Thank you very much, Cheryl. More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Wednesday's broadcast, FEMA has lots of badly needed mobile homes, but who's going to get them and when? Our series Crisis Check continues. For CBSNews.com, I'm Bob Schieffer.